Welcome back to Building Character, where we figure out how to play as your favorite fictional characters in Dungeons & Dragons. Join the Patreon for these sheets and a whole bunch more, and like and subscribe for a single man tier next time you play. Maybe. Today we're building Dean and Sam Winchester from Supernatural, a show whose creator left after the season 5 finale, where all the main characters killed the devil himself. Then the next 10 seasons the show had to keep escalating from there, killing characters, resurrecting them, baiting Tumblr gifs, and eventually killing God. I've never seen another show like it, but it felt so familiar for some reason.
It's called anime, and it's an art form.
We'll start off with Dean first. He's older and a little less complicated than Sammy. Still pretty complicated though. First, we need to hunt monsters. Not like the School of Monsters wizard from the Gilded Coast of Moria, my homebrew wizard subclass available on my Patreon. That's more of a Bobby Singer, actually best dad in the show, don't at me. Next, we need more salt than my comment section has when I build a bard. Dean isn't a bard though, even though he does kind of rock at lip-syncing Eye of the Tiger. Next, we need to get gripped tight and raised from perdition. That's not a euphemism if you haven't watched the show, and if you have watched the show, then you know, it kinda is a euphemism. For stats, we'll be using the standard point array from the player's handbook. Roll for stats if you want, just keep your multi-classing minimums in mind. Dean is a busy boy. Dexterity will be number 1. Most of the monsters get killed by rock salt guns or silver machetes, which I would call a scimitar. I don't think that there's a stat for virgin goat's blood, but maybe wisdom. That'll give you a better survival to find goats, and animal handling to get their blood without killing them. Intelligence next, you need to be able to tell your shifters from your Rougarous. I thought they said Rougarou a lot in the show. I think it's because Rougarou is so fun to say, and now that I've said it out loud, I agree. Take a shot of water every time I say Rougarou in this video. Constitution after that, Dean takes punches from demons, werewolves, angels, Rougarous, Lucifer, Michael the Archangel, and God, and he's only died like 10-ish times. Strength is a bit low. You're not really weak, but you're just a normal guy when you're not marked up with Cain's strength, and we'll dump charisma. You don't get the mark of Cain because you solve things conversationally. Dean is a human, and variant humans get a feat. Like the actor feat for +1 to your charisma, advantage on deception and performance checks to pretend you're another person, and the ability to perfectly mimic another person's speech if you spent a minute listening to them. You've been listening to AC/DC your whole life, that will help you pretend to be Agent Young, other than in season 1 when they couldn't afford the music license. Then it was like OCDB. Bump your dexterity and your intelligence with your 2 free points, take performance for your skill of choice and the charlatan background for deception and sleight of hand to flash the badge of Agent Cooper more convincingly. We'll kick things off as a rogue. While the Winchesters are great at violence, most things are beaten with role-playing power. That's why we need 4 skills like athletics, perception, stealth, and investigation. You can even make 2 of your skills better with expertise, doubling your proficiency bonus when you make those checks. We'll start with investigation and deception for now. Despite dumping charisma, you are a fantastic liar. In case you want to actually solve a problem with violence, sneak attack lets you add a d6 of damage to an attack against a creature when you have advantage on the roll, or an ally within 5 feet of the target. You have to be using a ranged or finesse weapon. Angel and devil blades are short swords at the longest, and guns are guns, even if you put salt in them. Bouncing over to ranger right away for another skill like survival to track down monsters, and canny for expertise in one skill, like survival. You can also pick a type of creature to have advantage on tracking with favorite enemy, and you get another one at 6th level and another one at 14th level if we continue this far into the class. Maybe we will. I don't know. Maybe finish the video and see if you can find a Rougarou. 2nd level rangers get a fighting style. Archery will be the first one we grab, but it will not be the last. That'll give you +2 to your attack rolls with ranged weapons like a gun or a hand crossbow. Also, if there's guns in your setting, take the gunner feat at level 1. If there aren't, I don't know, make these however you want. Make Dean a hippo man. Dean Jiff. You can also grab spells like detect magic, letting you sense magical auras and even know what type of magic is causing them, helping you find maliciousness, restlessness, and EVP-ness. Hunter's Mark lets you add a d6 of damage to attacks against a monster of the week. You have advantage on checks to track it for an hour as well. Despite getting most things done with roleplay, when the boys shoot stuff, the stuff dies in a couple of hits, so we gotta get some real damage. 3rd level rangers get to choose a conclave. Monster slayers are really good at hunting monsters, giving you hunter's sense to determine a creature's damage immunities, weaknesses, and vulnerabilities as an action to make sure that you're hitting things with the most damage possible. Wendigos like every Jimi Hendrix song except one. Pro tip. You also get Slayer's Prey, letting you pick a creature to deal an extra d6 of damage to with 1 attack per round. With Sneak Attack, Slayer's Prey, and Hunter's Mark, that's 3d6 bonus damage to an attack. It's basically stapling a great axe to a bullet. You also get protection from evil and good, giving a creature abjuration to aberrations, celestials, fiends, fae, elementals, and undead. Those nasty creatures will have disadvantage on attack rolls against your brother and be unable to charm, possess, or frighten them. You won't even have to get a tattoo to activate this. Isn't that nice? 4th level rangers get an ability score improvement. We'll start with dexterity to make sure that we're dropping monsters like female love interests for Sam and Dean, quickly and with extreme prejudice. 5th level level rangers get an extra attack, letting you make 2 attacks with your action instead of 1. Double tapping isn't a rule in Supernatural, but Dean isn't shy about emptying a clip. You can also learn 2nd level spells like Magic Weapon, making a weapon magical in terms of overcoming resistances, and adding 1 to the attack and damage rolls for holy weapons, angel blades, or salt bullets, whatever you'd prefer. Lasts for an hour depending on your concentration. Alright, now we can get back to multiclassing, because multiclassing is cool. Multiclassing to Monk is really great on Ranger, giving you unarmored defense, making your AC 10 plus your dexterity and wisdom modifier when you're not wearing armor. Flannel is not armor, it's a lifestyle. While unarmored, you can use martial arts to make your unarmed attacks using your dexterity modifier. They deal a d4 plus your dexterity modifier in damage. You can also make unarmed attacks as a bonus action after you make an unarmed attack as your action, or an attack with a monk weapon. Angel and demon blades are both wicked small, so dagger or short sword would fit the bill, meaning they can be monk weapons. Speaking of angel blades, I want to stab better, so let's dip to fighter now for another fighting style like dueling, to add 2 to the damage of a weapon attack from a weapon you're holding one-handed. I know it's busy, but now you've got options for distance, up close, and up close after you've been kidnapped and stripped of your inventory. Boys get kidnapped a lot. You also get second wind, heal 1d10 plus your fighter level as a bonus action once per short rest. On average, hunters get about 2 hours of sleep a night. Back over to ranger now. 6th level rangers get roving, adding 5 feet to your movement speed and giving you a swimming and climbing speed equal to your normal walking speed, which just got buffed by 5 feet. Eventually, you're gonna have to hunt in the water.
Sammy, you're telling me the Loch Ness Monster is in Lake Superior?
7th level monster slayers get supernatural defenses. That's the name of the show, letting you add a d6 to saving throws or escape attempts from grapples when creatures under your slayer's prey try to mess with you, so no Rougarou will bamboozle you. 8th level rangers get another ability score improvement, letting you cap off your dexterity modifier to be the best with all the weapons you regularly use. Maybe Death's Scythe is a strength modifier, but how many times are you gonna need to kill Death? I doubt it would be more than 3. 9th level rangers can learn 3rd level spells, and monster slayers get a Devil's Trap with Magic Circle. That creates a 10-foot radius, 20-foot high cylinder that keeps out celestials, elementals, fae, fiends, and undead, but you can give one of them a pass if you want cast to be able to come in. Creatures of that type can't enter normally and have to make a charisma saving throw to teleport in. They have disadvantage on attack rolls against creatures inside the circle, and the creatures inside can't be charmed, possessed, or frightened. The normal version is a salt circle, but if you flip it inside out, you can actually trap a creature inside. I don't know why Crowley keeps sending Crossroads demons out. They're basically just getting stolen by the Winchesters every single time. Probably because he just likes the Winchesters. He's very helpful to them. 10th level rangers get tireless, letting you remove effects of exhaustion on a short rest. That's the best you're gonna get when you have to drive all around the Midwest all the time. It takes forever. Every state in the Midwest is twice the size of a country in Europe, and it's all corn. I live here, I can say that. You also get to give yourself 1d8 plus your wisdom modifier and temporary HP, an amount of times per day equal to your proficiency bonus. Believe it or not, all that multiclassing is going to stop us from getting some ability score improvements. This could be useful to help make up for less constitution. 11th level monster hunters become a magic user's nemesis, letting you use your reaction when a creature casts a spell or tries to teleport, forcing them to make a wisdom saving throw or fail at using their spell or teleport. You can only do it once per short rest, but there's probably only one apocalyptic spell happening every 6 hours or so you'll have plenty of time to rest up and get that back. 12th level rangers get another ability score improvement. Let's start off investing in your wisdom for better tracking abilities and harder to resist banishments, which you'll get at the 13th level of ranger since you can cast 4th level spells, and monster slayers get banishment. That lets you force a charisma saving throw on a creature. Failing that, they're sent to a harmless demiplane for up to a minute, or back to their plane of origin if they aren't from Earth. If you hold concentration for a minute, they'll stay in their home plane, letting you send demons back to hell, so they'll at least have to work a little bit harder to come back. It also works on angels if you're having trouble with angels. Speaking of angels, let's get gripped tight by one as a cleric, specifically a knowledge domain cleric. That will give you 2 knowledge skills and expertise with them as well. We'll go for arcana and religion. Going to heaven and hell as often as you do has to have its rewards. You also get the identify spell for free, letting you know what a magical item is, what it does, and how many charges it has left. That way you don't accidentally end up with an apocalypse key and not realizing it. Lots of weird stuff in the Men of Letters clubhouse. You also get spells and cantrips. Light lets you see in the dark with your bad human eyes for an all-powerful flashlight. Guidance and resistance give a creature a d4 for ability checks and saving throws respectively. For first level spells, Shield of Faith adds 2 to the AC of a creature for 10 minutes depending on your concentration, helping you keep your baby brother safe. Bless gives up to 3 creatures a d4 to add to their attack rolls and saving throws for up to a minute depending on your concentration, if you'd rather just help Cass, Sam, and Scooby-Doo wreck shop. Since we're multiclassing spellcasters, check page 165 of the player's handbook to figure out how many spells you have at any given level. Alright, that's the last multiclass. For Dean, anyway. Back to Ranger. 14th level Rangers get Vanish, letting you hide as a bonus action and avoid being tracked by non-magical means. You go Renegade from angels and demons on the regular. Dean is a top tier hider. 15th level Monster Slayers get Slayer's Counter, letting you make a weapon attack as a reaction when the target of your Slayer's prey subjects you to a saving throw. Even better, if the attack succeeds, you automatically pass the saving throw. You don't love westerns as much as Dean without practicing your quick draw. Our capstone is the 16th level of Ranger. For one last ability score improvement, get your wisdom higher therefore harder to resist saving throws. Now that we've hit level 20, let's figure out how viable this build is. First, you have a ton of skills, expertise in 5 of them, and advantage on 2 of them, helping you get things done when you're not fighting. You're also great at taking down monsters one at a time, with Slayer's Prey, Sneak Attack, and Hunter's Mark all adding up to be one big hit. Finally, you're low maintenance, not requiring armor, weapons, or anything else to fight. For weaknesses, we really only missed one ability score improvement because of the multi-classing, but that stopped you from capping your wisdom modifier, so your saving throws aren't the best. You're also not great at making charisma saving throws, so you could end up being sent to hell yourself. Finally, even though you're great at lying, you're not great at persuading. You could have trouble forming meaningful connections with non-family members. That's why it's good you've got your brother with you. He's much softer and better at dealing with people, even if he does have a bit of a dark side.
And all your souls will be mine.
I gotta help Dad. I gotta help everybody.
Let's start off with our goals for this build. First, we need the skills. You thought Dean had skills? Dean is the muscle, Sam is the face. We're taking skills to the next level here. Next, we need some demon blood power. I know Sam kind of loses that later in the series, but I'm grabbing it. You can just choose not to if you want. Finally, we need to get rid of ghosts, monsters, and Rougarous. That's right, you're never done with Rougarous. For stats, we'll be using the standard point buy from the player's handbook. Roll for stats if you want, but there's a couple of multi-classing minimums. Charisma will start at 14. You gotta be charming to be the vessel of Lucifer. Wisdom, intelligence, and dexterity at 13. Those are skills you need to hunt down, investigate, and shoot monsters. Constitution at 11. Monster hunting is rough work. Strength is a bit lower at 10. You're not weak. Lord knows you go jogging a lot, but you're still just human. Speaking of, we're making him a human, not a hexblood. Hexbloods are cursed by the Fae, not by devils. That'll let you grab the same feat as Dean, actor, for +1 to your charisma, advantage on deception and performance checks to pretend to be someone else, as well as the ability to mimic people's speech after studying it for a minute. We just needed to establish trust as Special Agent Pert. Bump your charisma and dexterity with your 2 free points, take medicine for your skill of choice, and whatever you want your background to be for history and perception. That could be the first year of law school before a demon who killed your mom killed your girlfriend too background. I think that's in Sword Coast. We'll kick things off as a rogue for the most skills possible at level 1. Investigation, sleight of hand, stealth, and performance are all useful to hunt down Rougarous. Expertise will help you with 2 of those, doubling your proficiency bonus. I'm gonna say investigation and performance. Performance gets you into the crime scene, and investigation will help you investigate the crime scene. You also get sneak attack, letting you add a d6 of damage to an attack when you have advantage or brother is standing next to the monster you're shooting. You have to be using a ranged or finesse weapon, but just like Dean, you're using angel blades and guns. Brothers tend to have a lot in common. They also both like multi-classing, although getting bottle-fed demon blood when you're a baby might not actually be your choice. Still, Fiend Warlocks get Dark One's Blessing, giving you temporary HP equal to your Warlock level plus your Charisma modifier when you reduce a creature to 0 HP. Drinking demon blood keeps you healthy, so hit the tap when you drop one to the ground. You also get spells and cantrips. Friends gives you advantage on Charisma checks with a creature for a minute, but when that minute ends, they're gonna know you used magic and call the FBI to make sure that you're actually Agent Halford. So weird that they don't trust your credentials, but they do trust the phone number you give them for your supervisor. Just seems off. Eldritch Blast is the Warlock standard, shooting a beam that deals 1d10 force damage and can eventually push people back. It's that hand wave demon thing all the demons do that's basically a force push. It's never called that in the show, even though they established Dean loves Star Wars. Seems pretty weird. For your first level spells, Comprehend Languages lets you understand all written and spoken languages to get into the Latin you find at the Men of Letters headquarters. Turns out most of those letters are Latin. Protection from evil and good, abjures a friend from aberrations, celestials, fiends, fae, elementals, and undead. All the baddies will have disadvantage on attack rolls against them. They also can't charm, possess, or frighten your buddy because you got matching tattoos that one time. To be honest, I think the writers just realized that there was an issue if demons could just possess the main characters without any issues, so they're like, I don't know, magical tattoos. Second level warlocks get invocations, special powers you get from eating your Wheaties when you were younger. Wheaties are made of demon blood, by the way. Repelling Blast lets you push a creature 10 feet when you hit them with an Eldritch Blast for a little more force on your force push. Beguiling Influence gives you proficiency with persuasion and deception checks for better bamboozlery, and Puppy Dog Eyes when you don't feel like lying. Sam was the first character I heard described as a cinnamon roll, and I thought it was because he looked like a cinnamon roll because of his swirly brown hair, but he is a cinnamon roll with demon blood. Expeditious Retreat is a good spell for running away from Rougarous, letting you dash as a bonus action for up to 10 minutes depending on your concentration. Running away is always an option. Don't knock it if you don't want to die. But gods also like Sammy, or they like watching him squirm. Still, Cleric is a fine dip, especially Knowledge Cleric, for 2 more skills like Arcana and Religion, as well as expertise in those skills. You can also grab spells and cantrips like Spare the Dying to stabilize a creature at 0 HP. That way you don't have to make a huge deal with an extra planar entity at the end of a season to set up the story for the next season. This is for episodes 1 through 20 of the season where that doesn't happen. Guidance and Resistance give a creature a d4 to add to ability checks and saving throws respectively, so you can raise up a new generation of hunters. Hopefully they don't all get killed by the son of the devil, who is also your adopted son. Bless is also pretty good for that, giving up to 3 creatures a 1d4 to add to their attack rolls and saving throws for up to a minute depending on your concentration. Cure Wounds heals 1d8 plus your wisdom modifier as an action. It's not a lot of healing, but Sam isn't exactly a medic, just a little immediate medical attention. Multi-classing spellcaster with Warlock isn't that complicated, just keep your slots separate and know you can cast Warlock slots with Cleric slots and vice versa. Hey, what if we multi-classed again? It's been so long, and if you don't like it, you can fight me. Though, you better be a fighter. That'll give you a fighting style like dueling to add 2 to the damage of a weapon you're holding one-handed, helping make sure that your angel blades and demon blades are taking care of whatever you decide to stab with them. You also get second wind, letting you recover 1d10 plus your fighter level as a bonus action once per short rest. Mixing fighter with Warlock, you better take some naps. Both classes really love a short rest. So do I. But I think there's one thing I enjoy more than naps, and that's multi-classing. Especially multi-classing with Monk for martial arts to make your unarmed attacks using your dexterity modifier. They deal 1d4 plus your dexterity modifier in damage, and you can make an unarmed attack as a bonus action after you make one with your action, or make an attack with a monk weapon. A dagger or a short sword is a monk weapon, so now you can get a little combo going. You can't do this while you're wearing armor, but you do get unarmored defense, making your AC 10 plus your dexterity modifier and wisdom modifier when you're not wearing armor. It's so much more incognito than walking around South Dakota in plate mail. Alright, back over to Warlock. Let's get some more blood and power with a pact boon like Pact of the Blade, giving you a magical weapon you can conjure to yourself as an action for a more clandestine demon blade from Crowley. You also get second level spells like Hold Person, forcing a wisdom saving throw on a humanoid. Failing that, they're paralyzed for up to a minute depending on your concentration. It might not work on demons or angels, but it's a solid power to use on humans if you feel like tiptoeing on the dark side. 4th level Warlocks get an ability score improvement, bump your charisma modifier for harder to resist saving throws from your devil powers, and more importantly, better charisma checks. You can also grab another spell like Enthrall, which forces a wisdom saving throw on creatures who can see and hear you. Failing that, they have disadvantage on perception checks to see other creatures. Draw a bit of focus and let Dean get clandestine. We're tiptoeing on community territory there. Dean Pelton build when. 5th level Warlocks get another invocation. Thirsting Blade lets you make 2 attacks instead of 1 with your action when you're using your pact weapon, letting you stab twice with your angel blade. You can also learn 3rd level spells like Magic Circle. That creates a 10-foot radius, 20-foot high cylinder that keeps out celestials, elementals, fae, fiends, and undead, but you can give one of them a pass if you want cast to be able to come in. Creatures of that type can't enter normally and have to make a charisma saving throw to teleport in. They have disadvantage on attack rolls against creatures inside the circle, and creatures inside can't be charmed, possessed, or frightened. The normal version is a salt circle, but if you flip it inside out, you can trap a creature inside. That's the exact same description I gave for Dean, but it's the same spell, so that makes sense. 6th level Fiend Warlocks get Dark One's Own Luck, giving you a d10 you can add to an ability check or saving throw once per long rest. It'll just make you a little stronger than the kids who grew up drinking milk instead of demon blood. For this level spell, Dispel Magic lets you remove an effect of a spell of 3rd level or lower automatically, and higher level spells with a charisma check of 10 plus the spell's level. Hopefully, understanding Rowena's magic will help you clear out the spells from other witches, hexblades, and whatnot. Rougarou. 7th level Warlocks get another invocation. Improved Pact Weapon adds 1 to the attack and damage rolls of your Pact Weapon, which when you add dueling gives you +8 to the damage modifier and almost makes a dagger good. There's no reason you shouldn't be using a short sword instead, other than the fact that it's pretty clearly a dagger. You can also learn 4th level spells like Banishment, which kicks a creature back to their home plane or to a harmless demi-plane for a minute depending on your concentration. If you keep them in their home plane for the whole minute, they stay there, and you don't have to fight them until they can make their way back out of hell. 8th level Warlocks get another ability score improvement, cap off your charisma modifier to banish people even better than your big brother. But sometimes you actually want to call hell for some backup, so pick up Summon Greater Demon here, which conjures a demon of challenge rating 5 or lower. That's kind of under your control. It gets to make a charisma saving throw on each turn to make its own decision. Otherwise, it hangs out for an hour depending on your concentration. If you drop concentration, it's probably going to try to murder you. 9th level Warlocks get another invocation. Agonizing Blast lets you add your charisma modifier to the damage of your Eldritch Blast attacks. Those are pretty good at killing demons when you go rogue for a year. We'll be going back to rogue in a second. We just need to grab a 5th level spell like Planar Binding, which binds a celestial, elemental, fae, or fiend to your service for 24 hours. It takes an hour to cast, so definitely have your brother lock them inside a magic circle first. Then you can bring Crowley with you, and he has to be on your side, even though he always is. The brothers are always like, we can't trust Crowley, even though he's purely on their side for like 7 seasons straight. But Cass, who does morally questionable stuff 6 times a season, oh, he's our 3rd brother. Back over to Rogue now. 2nd level Rogues get Cunning Action, letting you dash, disengage, or hide as a bonus action. Obviously, you don't want to spend one of your precious Warlock slots to disengage. 3rd level Rogues get to choose a roguish archetype. Scouts get 2 more skills for free, Survival and Nature, and you get expertise in them for free as well. That will make you as good of a hunter as Dean. You're also a skirmisher, letting you move half your movement speed when a creature ends their turn within 5 feet of you. I'm mostly here for the extra skills, but it could be useful for when it's terror time again. They'll have you running through the night, but more importantly, you can get the monsters running with 2d6 sneak attack damage and make sure that pops more often with steady aim, giving you advantage on 1 weapon attack per round as a bonus action as long as you don't move that turn. 4th level Rogues get another another ability score improvement, bump up your dexterity modifier to be a little more accurate with your weapon attacks. You can't kill monsters if you can't hit monsters. 5th level rogues get uncanny dodge, letting you take half damage as a reaction as long as you can see the source of damage. Hopefully that stops you from dying. Resurrection is so expensive. You can also make the enemies spend some money on resurrection with 3d6 sneak attack damage. 6th level rogues get expertise in 2 more skills. Persuasion and deception will make you the ultimate face. I guess we don't have intimidation, but that's because you're just such a cinnamon roll. Even when Sam goes dark side, he's still just pastry. 7th level rogues get evasion, letting you take half damage from failed dex saves and no damage from successful ones. Sometimes you just want to blow things up. This will keep you safe when you explode a Rougarou, or you could just hit him with 4d6 sneak attack damage. Our capstone is the 8th level of rogue. I think there was a lot of multi-classing. I might have gotten this wrong. For an ability score improvement to bump up your dexterity modifier, I wish we could cap it, but for some reason I had to do a bunch of multi-classing. Now that we've hit level 20, let's figure out how viable this build is. First, you have more skills and expertise than just about anyone we've ever built. You're also dealing consistent damage with your magical weapon, extra attack, and extra sneak attack once per round. Finally, you have a lot of great spells for not only handling extra planar entities, but the ability to bend them to your will as well. For weaknesses, the multi-classing prevented us from capping your dexterity modifier. I'd probably drop that 1 monk level, but the boys fight unarmed too much to ignore that. You also only have 2 warlock slots with you per short rest, so you might have to pick and choose what you're using. Finally, you spent a lot of time in D8 hit die classes with a neutral constitution, so your HP is a little low. Thankfully, dying is hardly an inconvenience. If you die, Dean will make a warlock pact to save you. If he dies, you can take a cleric level for some heavenly favor, and then you can just keep doing that for 15 years. It's really no cast for alarm. You'll stay happy instead of empty. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, subscribe for more. We're making double videos every day this month. Join the Patreon for this character sheet and a whole bunch more, and sub to Tulok and Mango for more Tulok fun.